icebreaker. Thank you so much, Vanessa. So, so allow me to now go straight to the main agenda of the session, and allow me to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Mr. Benjamin Waithaka. He is the one who is going to lead us through this enlightening session, and he is a distinguished professional who has been in the digital space for over 15 years. So I'd like to read out his bio before I invite him. Benjamin Mwendia Waithaka is a prominent 3D generalist and a leading mentor for aspiring animators in Kenya and the surrounding region, with over 18 years of experience in the animation industry. He is an Autodesk certified professional and co-founder of the award-winning Blueplines Studio Kenya, serving clients such as the Kenya National Highways Authority, KENHA, Vision 2030, Africa Cup of Nations, Uber, Kenya Wildlife Service, Life Skills Kenya, and Kenya Ports Authority. Benja, as many call him, has previously lectured at Shantao Media Arts College and currently heads the Department of Animation at Africa Digital Media Institute. Under his leadership at Blueplines Studio, he has received numerous accolades, including Entrepreneur of the Year in 2014, the City Micro Entrepreneurship Award, and being a finalist for the Kenya ICT Rising Star Award. Benjamin is dedicated to continuous improvement and tracking new challenges within a positive mindset. He is passionate about nurturing the growth of the animation industry in Kenya and beyond, and he values the impact he has had on many individuals in the field. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please allow me to welcome Mr. Benjamin Waithaka on the stage. Benja, you're most welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you for showing up. We've been talking about the whole issue of the digital space, and I've seen a lot of the questions and what people are asking and what they would want to get into. But we need to interrogate the whole digital space. We are calling it digital DNA. Now, DNA goes to the heart or the foundation of who we are. And the DNA is the one that, you know, when we look at your DNA, we can tell whether you're African, your whatnots. We can tell where your relatives are from. We can tell a lot from your DNA. So when we say digital DNA, we mean we're going to go deep into the heart of the matter, which is the digital space. And because we are trying to assess your team's future readiness, and not just your team, we are looking at you as an individual. How do you maneuver around this space? So, and why are you even maneuvering around this space to start with? Why? So let me just share a presentation. Okay. So what is this future readiness and why are we actually doing it in the first place? So if we look at the world of work, the whole world of work, we see things have changed, okay? The world of work is changing, and it's changing very fast. When the whole world changes and you can't run your business or team the same old way, because if you do, you become redundant. This is once in a lifetime opportunity for your business to redefine how work gets done, reorganize the workforce, and empower your people and empower yourself as well. And we would like to show you how. Now, 87% of senior executives are prioritizing digital transformation. The talk is all digital in town currently. So why is that? Why is everybody clamoring to digital transformation? So our biggest challenge is the digital space. Now it's a huge, massive space. And we need to start learning how to maneuver around it. There's a lot to it. Now, technology are trends that are quite disruptive currently. And I'm saying currently, knowing that it could change in the next month, the next year, things could change extremely fast. But currently, there's this whole talk of the metaverse, okay? So the metaverse, imagine a world in which people live, work, play, shop, and interact with each other, all from the comfort of their couch. In the physical world, this is the metaverse. So you're in the physical world, but you're consuming or you're shopping or you're interacting in a virtual space where you have avatars, virtual avatars. So we are used to sort of linear, let me call it linear interaction through our social media, through like what we're having currently is linear, as much as we can be able to ask questions and all that. But when it comes to the metaverse, essentially we would all be sitting in the same space and discussing things and interacting with objects in there. So yeah, we are getting there, and things that we thought are in the future are right here, right now. So there's also artificial intelligence, the whole issue of AI, which there has been a lot of buzz around that. And AI learns about artifacts from data and generates innovative new creations that are similar to the original. And it doesn't even repeat. AI can do quite a number of things. But in the, for example, sorry, in the animation industry and in the graphic industry, and even photography, people have been using AI to touch up their photos. People have been using AI to generate things. ChatGPT is one of those areas. There's things like Midjourney. You find they're all being used one way or the other. And in one area, lots of people are feeling scared that they are taking their jobs. And in other areas, like, for example, a few weeks ago, I think a month ago, there's a new coding language that came from NVIDIA, the company, and people are feeling like people will lose their jobs. And yeah, that is happening. And then when it comes to blockchain technology is one of the most promising new innovations to emerge in the recent years. It powers things like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other cryptocurrencies, okay? So this one, you'll find out that when it comes to things like Bitcoin, and it is currency that, number one, increases trust, security, transparency, and the traceability of data across a business network. And that's the kind of thing. And delivers cost savings with new efficiencies. Blockchain for business uses a shared immutable ledger that can only be accessed by members with permission. So unlike conventional currency, this one looks like it's either more secure, okay? More secure, easily traceable. So, and the permission from the members, it gives them a form of trust, okay? So blockchain is coming in, Ethereum, and all these cryptocurrencies are coming in, and banks should clearly start looking at this thing one way or the other. Now, cryptocurrency, when I say cryptocurrency, it's a digital currency, which is an alternative form of payment created using encryption algorithm. It's an alternative form of payment. And wherever we can have trust, wherever things can move faster, you notice people want to move there. People want to get there. So these are the kind of technologies that we are kind of having. Now, the cloud is what we are mostly kind of used to. Cloud native platforms are technologies that allow you to build new applications, architectures that are resilient, elastic, and agile. When we say cloud, you notice we are able to save our emails on the cloud. We are able to use different technologies for different companies to be able to interact, have meetings, share files. So the cloud is also another area that is really kind of disruptive. And we're going to come see how that works. Now, by all means, these are not the only technologies that are out there. There are quite a number. There are quite many. Actually, they are coming in thick and fast. Every single day, we are starting to have that. Now, what is the repercussion of these things? Okay, we're having a metaverse where people can meet. You don't need to meet physically. It is actually taking the technology of VR and AR. That is when you look at virtual reality and augmented reality. Augmented reality is whereby you're adding virtual things in real life situations. Okay, like when you wear the goggles, you know, if you wear the VR goggles, and there are some markets right now where you enter into an art gallery, you see nothing until you wear the VR goggles. Look around, and then you can actually start seeing the merchandise. And some online stores have started doing that. Some stores have started doing that, whereby you wear the virtual goggles, and then you can be able to see the merchandise or their stock. You can even see the prices attached to them. But the room is empty. The room is actually empty. These are all digital things that we are looking at. So what is the repercussion of this? Okay, what is the challenge? That is the main question. So the challenge is, number one, the pace of change. That is the biggest challenge. The pace of change is accelerating from macroeconomic challenges to climate change. Today's humans have a dizzying array of choices to make every day, large and small. The number of choices we have to make are just astronomical every single day. And there's this graph that I have over here. It's called VUCA. Okay. VUCA standing for volatility, okay, uncertainty, ambiguity, and complexity. So volatility, rapid and unexpected changes. Uncertainty, pending change. Known unknowns. Ambiguity, too many unknowns. Okay. Complexity, multiple key decision factors. So you notice if you look at my graph, all right, as we go up, you see how well can you predict the results of your actions. And down here, how much do you know about the situation? So these two things, these two very pertinent questions, okay? How much do you know about a certain given situation? And how well can you predict the results of your actions? Now, these are things that we are grappling with over and over again. There's a story I usually tell that the first time I came across, or I came across the whole issue of VUCA, was I was in high school. I was in high school, boarding school, back in the day, and I didn't know it was VUCA, but now I understand it was VUCA. This is the challenge that I was facing. And we were having evening preps, and during evening preps, it was a crime to go to the washrooms. So this day I had taken quite a bit of liquids, and I decided I know it's a crime, but I have to rush to the washrooms. So I rushed to the washrooms, but on coming back, by the time I get to our classroom, I found everybody was kneeling down. I had no idea why they were being punished, because I wasn't there, because I was in the washrooms. So that is where now the VUCA situation came in, because in that situation, the option was, do I kneel down with them? And I don't know, like, how much do you know about the situation? I didn't know anything about the situation, about what had happened. Okay. Now, I could not predict the results of my actions. So if I go back to the washrooms and I get caught there, or if a roll call is done and I'm not in classroom when everybody else is kneeling, that is even a more serious crime. But if I stay there now, I'll also be punished for something that I didn't know what happened. So that is the first time I actually came across this kind of a thing. And over the years, we've faced so many. The challenge here, because of VUCA, because of what we are talking about over here, the whole VUCA issue, that rapid and unexpected challenges, right? Yesterday is a good example. Somebody was just coming to town for their own thing, and then they find tear gas all over. Things have just changed. The shops are closed, okay? And then there's uncertainty. Most likely this person didn't know what was going on until they found out, oh, it was something to do with the bill, the finance bill. And now there were too many unknowns. Do you run away? Do you run towards parliament? Do you run anywhere else? Where do you run? And if you run there, okay, if you run there, how do you get out of town? How do you get out of town? Those are multiple key decision factors. So whatever decision you make, you may end up in the arms of the police, get arrested. You may end up in the arms of some hooligan somewhere. So you have no idea what's going on here, okay? But you still have to make decisions. You definitely still have to make decisions. Now, the challenge is that many workers, business people, all of us, are feeling insecure. They are totally feeling insecure because of the kind of landscape we are living in, the digital ecosystem. So you notice that 50% of us need reskilling. Okay. Now, the World Economic Forum estimates that by next year, which is 2025, 50% of workers will need reskilling, because automation will displace 85 million jobs worldwide. 85 million jobs because of automation. Some machine is literally going to be doing your work, okay? And 85 million jobs people are going to be displaced. Now, while 97 new roles will emerge adapted to this dynamic. So yes, it will displace like 85 million jobs, but 97 million new roles will emerge, okay, adapted to this dynamic. The new roles of the future are expected to have a heavy emphasis on data analytics, digital experience, and process automation. So you notice digital is at the heart of it, of the new roles that are going to be emerging going forward. Now, with this whole VUCA thing, that we are talking about, because of that, and because of these things that are the jobs that are going to be displaced because of automation, you know, and sort of AI and all these things coming in. Now, what's going to happen is that though this whole thing looks like that, though we are looking at it and we're saying, yes, we are in the VUCA age, that is where we are, where there is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And it's going to become more and more prevalent in the business world going forward. It's actually going to become more and more prevalent. This environment, number one, destabilizes people and makes them anxious, okay? Saps their motivation and thwarts their career moves. So you're wondering, now that I'm doing this kind of a career, then all of a sudden there's an automation coming in or some machine coming in and it's taking over. It kills the motivation, it thwarts career moves. Somebody does not want to move on with that career. We are just switching careers left, right, and center, hoping to find somewhere where we can have a proper foundation. But everywhere you land, these things are there. Now, what am I trying to say? Although VUCA might seem inescapable, you can manage yourself, your team, and your organization to mitigate its effects. You can even use it to your advantage, okay? Because there's always an advantage in chaos. You'll always find an opportunity in all these chaos. The key to managing this environment is to break down the VUCA into its individual components. Okay, we look at VUCA, then we break it down to its individual components. So what components are these that we are talking about? So here, on the left side, we are having the VUCA, that is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And on the right hand, we are having vision, understanding, clarity, and agility. Now, I'll try to explain this. I'll just make sure I explain this. Now, if we break it down, we break these components. We start with a V, okay, which is volatility, okay? So being an acronym, so we are going to start with V, volatility. Now, here, change is rapid and unpredictable in its nature and extent. It's rapid, unpredictable in its nature and extent. Now, let me give you a few examples. Now, quite a number of years back, there was a company. It was called Blockbuster. The collapse of Blockbuster, an American's well-known movie and video game rental company. I know to this day, some people, and especially those of a younger age, do not know that there was a time that we were even renting games. Games were rental, okay? And there were those movie halls were used to rent these movies. Now, this company was quite huge, okay? It's a good example of volatility. Blockbuster had been number one, okay? Blockbuster had been number one in areas, it had been number one rental business in this area for more than 2 decades. For 20 years, they were number one. Its success peaked in around 2004 when the corporation had about 9,094 outlets in various nations. Okay, in 2004, they had 9,094 outlets in different parts of the world. However, the changing trend towards video on demand, okay, that became its Achilles heel. Okay. Now, video on demand came in, and Blockbuster's inability to remain competitive caused the company to go bankrupt by 2010. A company that had over 9,000 outlets all over the world, the company that had thrived for over 20 years, okay, went bankrupt because of video on demand. Now, the Netflix of this nation were coming in, the Amazon Primes, all these things were coming in, and people were getting movies at the comfort of their homes. This is video on demand. But Blockbuster did not change their business model. They didn't look at that as a business model. They thought that they were going to do things the same way that they've been doing it, and things would have worked. But no, shock on them. See, within a very short time, in less than 6 years, they had gone bankrupt. From being number one from the world to being bankrupt because they did not change. Okay, they did not change fast enough. Now, if you look at different things, like in 2014 in this country, for example, 2014, Safaricom would have over 20 million subscribers. Previously, Telcom was the one that was number one, and by the time Safaricom was coming on board, there were almost 7 million people waiting to be connected to phone lines through Telco, okay? But Safaricom comes in, okay, and disrupts the whole thing. And by 2014, they had over 20 million subscribers. It even got worse because now the way business was being done by Postal Corporation of Kenya was that people used to send letters. Now, all of a sudden, things as trivial as sending a letter to your loved one was no longer considered romantic enough. All you needed was a text message that took a shorter time, okay, and delivered the message instantly instead of a letter. So now all these businesses were losing out. Let me not even go into a whole issue of M-Pesa because it came in, and all of a sudden, banks that were charging people a lot of money to keep your money, banks that were asking for an introduction letter just for you to open an account, all of a sudden they were hawking their businesses on the street, because all of a sudden we had M-Pesa coming in and disrupting a lot of things. So yeah, these changes come really quick, really fast. And if we are not careful, they catch us flat-footed. The same year, I think 2014 was a very major shift in this country. Because I remember the same year is when Uber rode into town. Okay, literally, Uber rode into town. And you remember there was war, you know, all these taxi parks, cars were burnt, you know, that you're trying to drive an Uber, and the taxi people, you know, it was more of a cartel thing back then. Okay, they owned these different points of getting people and all that. It was a whole cartel thing. But when Uber drove in, they couldn't stop it. Okay, long time taxi drivers in Nairobi were up in arms, but they couldn't stop it. All of a sudden, it took their businesses. They didn't want to change. Okay, so yeah, so these changes are unpredictable. Okay, and they are rapid. In 2020, we all know, by January, we were all nice and dandy. By March, you couldn't move from one county to the next. You could literally not move from one estate to another almost. Okay, because when COVID hit, And it was very rapid. It was unpredictable. Okay, very unpredictable. We had no idea what was going on. Okay, everybody was kind of scared. Now, if you look at the uncertainty of the issue as well, okay, the present is unclear and the future is uncertain. Okay, just like COVID-19, we didn't know what was happening. Okay, and we had no idea how long it would last. Okay, this like the COVID-19 pandemic, these circumstances had an impact on businesses in various sectors. The cause and effects are clear, but there was no information regarding when the situation would normalize. We didn't know at what point everything is going to normalize. So it was very uncertain. It was extremely an uncertain time. Things, you notice, we even had the war in Ukraine and it affected our grains here in Kenya. We couldn't feed people nicely because the grains were coming from there. You find things change. Like, for example, when Kenya got these terrorist attacks, we were hit by terrorists. Then all of a sudden, every other building in this country, there is security at the door. You know, most people who have never left this country think that it is normal. We are so used to it. People come from other parts and they are shocked. They're wondering, how do you have security all over? In the airport, there is a time that people used to take their relatives all the way to a waving bay, right next to the runway, and you wave as your relative leaves. Today, you cannot even do that because of these terrorism things. So it's uncertain when all these things are going to end. Now, the complexity also comes in. Things become complicated, okay? For instance, when you want to expand to other markets, okay, then it brings new challenges, different regulations, different tariffs, export controls. You enter a county, there are different fees, each county has set their own charges. A good example is the whole Mogoka Miraa issue that came up the other day. Now imagine somebody was trying to sell Mogoka, and for the first time they get a loan and get several rollies and they are headed towards Mombasa to sell their Mogoka, only for the laws to change and they are told, no, it has been banned while they are halfway there. Okay, so this is something that they had not anticipated. Okay, they had not anticipated. They spent some money, so they'll try to fight it, but at least people are still losing business one way or the other. Now there is ambiguity. This is a lack of clarity or awareness of the situation. Ambiguity is evident throughout the digital transformation process. Okay, even though technological advances have existed for a very long time, business digitization began to grow in the 1990s when the internet became widely available, okay? And almost all businesses are still learning how to operate their operations digitally. Even now, people are still having an issue. How do we go digital? Do we go manual? Okay, because there is no manual for this transformation. There is no roadmap. How do we transform into the digital space? How do we do that? They don't have a manual. You're just there. You're the manager. You are a decision maker, and you are never trained. In your entire training, you are never trained about these things. In your entire training, they never told you about the metaverse. So, and here you are, and you're supposed to make a decision. Okay. Now, there is no right or wrong strategies. All sides are attempting to keep up with the rapid development of technologies. Okay, because maybe you had policies how to save your files, how to keep information, and all of a sudden these things are coming in. So what do we do about that? Once we understand, yes, that is what is happening. In my own career, ask yourself, in my organization, what are you seeing ahead? In your own career, what are you seeing ahead of you? What are the changes that are coming in? All right. Now, if there's volatility, whatever, we counter it with vision. Okay. Accept and embrace the change as a constant, unpredictable feature of your working environment. Don't resist it. Even if it becomes volatile, do not embrace the change, because at times we refuse. Change is very hard for us. We want to do things the same. And that's why we always say we miss the good old days. Everybody says the good old days. But things will always change. Change is constant. So embrace it, okay? Know it is a constant. Know that it will continue being there. Do not resist it, okay? Now, Create a strong and compelling statement of objectives and values, and develop a clear vision of the future. Make sure that you have some flexible goals that you can amend if necessary. They have to be flexible. Make sure that you have flexible goals. This will allow you to navigate unsettled, because at least you can change. Okay, so you'll be able to navigate unsettled and familiar situations and react quickly to these changes, because you know they are coming. Okay, react quickly to these changes. Now you need to meet uncertainty now. Okay, the uncertainty we've been talking about with understanding. You need to meet that with understanding. Pause to listen and look around. Okay, this can help you understand and develop new ways of thinking and acting in response to these VUCA elements. Okay, try to understand, listen around, try to understand the situation. Okay, try to understand the situation. Now, complexity with clarity. Okay, so you react with complexity with clarity. Now, what does that mean? Again, communicate clearly with your people in complex situations. Clear expressed communications help them understand your team's or organization's direction, so that they know what is our direction and is the communication clear. Okay, so that nothing looks complex. Okay, now fight ambiguity with agility. Okay, fight ambiguity with agility. Okay, promote flexibility, adaptability, and agility. Plan ahead, but in your contingency time, and be prepared to alter your plans as events unfold. Be prepared to alter your plans as events unfold. Okay, now, as much as you look at all that, so how do you respond? How do you respond? Okay, you respond by changing your mindsets. You need to change your mindset. Okay, digital transformation is an inside job. Okay, you need to change your mindset. Even after we discussed all that, you do need to change your mindset. Now, how do you change your mindset? Well, by several things. See the opportunity. Okay, don't just see the chaos in it. See the opportunity. Okay, well, by 2100, 1 in every 3 humans will be African. Okay. By 2030, all but a few African countries will be middle income. The rest of the world is aging fast, while Africans are expected to make up to 42% of the world's youth by 2030. At least a quarter of our total population has internet access by 2030. Africa could achieve rough parity with the rest of the world when 3/4 of Africans are projected to become internet users. Here in Kenya, well, the number is quite high currently. The economic potential is enormous. Mobile technologies alone have generated about 1.7 million jobs and contributed to about $144 billion to the continent's economy, or roughly about 8.5% of GDP. So as much as things are changing, they are getting better. They are getting better. Africa is rising according to these statistics over here. Seeing. So we need to ask yourself, are things getting better? Even as we make noise, are things getting better? Now, if I look at my family over the last 3 generations, things have gotten better. In fact, you'll notice that we are like 2 generations away from shoes. We are wearing shoes every day here, but 2 generations from us, there were no shoes. Okay, it was a luxury to have shoes. Education has gotten better. Healthcare has gotten better. We have access to the internet. Okay, the population is more educated, more exposed. Things are getting better if you look at them. Our lifespans are getting longer. Our food got better than worse as we decided to not eat the way we are supposed to. But we have all these opportunities. We have all these mobile phones that we are holding in our hands that we're being told are generating money. They are creating new kinds of jobs, okay, just coming in through the digital space. Because if you look at the digital space right now, currently, when I was in school, everybody was being asked, you know, and when you're younger, we always asked, what do you want to become when you become older or grown up. And we all mention conventional careers, teacher, lawyer, doctor. Okay. But who knew people are going to be making money off YouTube? Influencers. That's something that came the other day, that somebody can go on YouTube and become an influencer, and through endorsements, they make some really good money, okay, because they are using a technology that is available. Okay. If you look at the social media itself and this kind of changes that it is bringing, people are making money out of that. Okay. Selling cars where they don't even have cars. They go to a yard somewhere on a Sunday, like the Sunday motor yard over there, and they take videos, and then they talk to their clients, and they hook them up with the owners of the car, and they are paid a commission. These people are living large, and they're just using their mobile phones. Ladies are using their mobile phones to sell shoes and clothes and all that. So it's something that is emerging, and things are definitely getting better as we move along. Now, what do we need to do? We need to recognize what we have in our hands. You are the global elite. What do you have in your hands? Okay. Well, you have a laptop, you have a home, you have a safe country, you have businesses out there that are thriving. Okay. So these are the things that you need to know, that yes, I do have these in my hands. But what do I do with these ones? What do I do with these things that I have? Well, I will need to start retooling. I'll need to start retooling. Okay. How can I leverage the opportunities presented by the new digital era to advance my career, to advance the opportunities for my business and all that? Okay. Retooling is about reorienting yourselves in a new direction of enterprise. Likewise, it's about changing your attitude and behavior, about creating a healthier corporate culture, and about adapting to a more responsive approach to greater customer service. Retooling is a continuous process of organizational development. So we need to continually retool. It's a process that we need to continually retool. We need to be thought leaders in our areas. Now, a person whose views are taken as to be authority and influential, a thought leader often offers guidance and insights to those around them. So become a thought leader at the end of the day. Retool, it's a continuous process. Be self-aware. Okay, how can you be disrupted? Okay, you could get sick, your country could go to war, or your country could become a first world, so the opportunities are coming in. Your company could merge with another company, or your company could acquire other companies. Your career could take a shift. Several things that could happen. So once you're self-aware of these disruptions, and you notice like COVID disrupted us, AI has been disrupting us, and we need to understand it, okay, for us to be able to grow there. So we need to be self-aware. Then once we are self-aware, we position ourselves. Position yourself as a solution and continue innovating. Take control of your market rather than being a passive complainer. Offer value for value. And once that happens now, you need to learn how to tell your story. You need to learn how to tell your story to achieve your goals. Now, when I say tell your story, I mean, whom are you telling your story to? Is it the CEO of the company? Okay. Do you want to help young people invest? You have to speak their language. Okay. Our goal as storytellers is to resonate with our audience. Your audience could be the HR. Your audience could be a vendor in the street. How do they speak? Okay. You need to match their vocabulary. You need to appeal to their needs. Back up your points with real data. Okay. Focus on the entire omni-channel experience. That is 360, from the manual one all the way to social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever, the entire omni-channel experience. Now, pair your story with an artifact, a piece, something that is organized, something that is precise in language, okay, and its topic and the format of whatever it is you want to tell your people. Follow up with a summary, okay, so that now you can convince whoever now that you need to do what? Whoever you need to persuade now. You can convince them with that story. Now, once you learn how to tell the story, now ask yourself, whom am I convincing? Is it a client? Is it HR? Is it the C-suite? is it financed? Okay. And when that happens now, you can be able now to move away from VUCA without being affected by it, by understanding what to do. Now, we do have some tools that could help you tell your story, because we want to tell your story. There are several courses that could help you do that. Now, we do have digital content creation, okay? After completing this course, you'll be able to create a path for turning your ideas into appealing digital content that advertises the brands and products of your company there. So we also have a certificate in entertainment business, okay? Through this course, you'll have the opportunity to acquire the primary elements of business management skills that are directly applicable to the entertainment industry in emerging markets. Upon completion of this program, you will be able to have a wholesome understanding of the entertainment business ecosystem. Okay. Now, all this is digital. Now, you go to certificate in sports business. So what is that? This course equips current and aspiring entertainment business managers and entrepreneurs with the fundamental understanding of sports business principles. There's also data analysis, okay, quite important. After this course, you'll be able to build your path towards examining information using data analysis tools to help your organization develop insights and take decisions concerning their business, all right? There's digital marketing. The ability to effectively market online is no longer an option. You know, everything now, it's no longer an option. It's essential. With so much competition for attention online, businesses need to have skilled digital marketers who have effectively target audience, optimize campaigns, and deliver results. So we need good, proper digital marketers. It's not an option anymore. There's also graphic design, whereby you use it as a communication tool, okay, to enhance your brand visibility, because we are talking of through digital marketing. Then you have graphic design, whereby now you can use the digital tools to enhance yourself and your brand's visibility. So these are things. And in all this, by the way, in all these, like in graphic design, you'll find AI in there, artificial intelligence. All you have to do is understand it. As we said in the VUCA, know that things are changing. Understand what AI is. A few years back, typing on a typewriter was considered a noble profession, until now computers came and it felt like cheating when you're typing on Microsoft Word and all of a sudden it is correcting your spelling mistakes. Back then it was AI. So AI has been with us all along. It's only that we've never interrogated and said for sure this is AI. People are taking photos with their phones now. See, things are changing and they are able to put filters and all kinds of things. So we need to be able to understand these AI through all these courses, like the courses we are having here, digital courses. AI is not one thing separate. It's depending on the career you're in, depending on what you want to do in the digital space, be it data analysis, be it digital marketing, be it graphic design. It will always have an element of AI. And it's something that we really need to understand, because at the end of the day, you will not be replaced by AI. You will be replaced by somebody who knows how to use AI effectively. Thank you very much. I think I'll end my submission there, and let me give it back to Rachel. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Benja. Your presentation has been amazing. It has been fun, relatable, and very inspiring. Now, it's time for Q&A, but I think I've been writing a lot of things while you were presenting. Let me share a personal Q&A, personal takeaway from this presentation. I have learned that there is need for professionals to upskill and reskill as soon as possible, because by 2025, 50% of the workforce will need to reskill because they will be replaced by automation. So this is my key takeaway from your presentation, and it was very, very amazing. So I'll give this opportunity to our participants to ask any questions. Please fire away any question that you have, any question that is related to the topic that we've tackled today. just ask the question, use the chat box, and I'll be able to address that shortly. I've seen that there is one question here from, it was a question from Abdi Hafid. His question was, if I may ask, the threat of AI will displace careers. Does this mean that whichever career you go to will not escape the grip of AI? This is your question, Benja.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Guhad. Yes, whichever career you go to, you will not escape AI. And that's why you need to reskill and retool, understand the AI. And as I said, you will not be replaced by AI. You'll be replaced by somebody who understands how to use the AI.
Okay. Thank you so much. Please keep your questions coming in. We value your participation. If you have any question that is related to the topic that we've tackled, please just ask away. Benja, as we wait for people to warm up for a few questions, I will ask you one question. In your experience, what are some of the common obstacles teams face when adapting to a new digital age or to new digital technologies, and how can this be overcome effectively?
The biggest hurdle, usually you find that for most teams that I've come across and the ones that I've dealt with, is the sheer lack of direction. Because we don't have a manual of how to transform digitally. And the one place to start is to retool, okay? We need to retool. We need to unlearn what we've learned and learn the new things that are coming in. Learn the digital space, and depending on the career, which industry you're talking about, okay? So we need to learn what is the new thing that is coming in. We need to understand it. We need to retool. Like most of the careers that I've mentioned down there, those are a good way to start, because first of all, you need brand visibility, you need to market, you need to do data analysis, all these things. So you need to go jump into the digital space and start retooling. That is what I would advise. Jump into the digital space, and then you'll get the direction of how to start retooling.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Benja, for your response. Victor Isika has a question. As a 3D generalist, what are the tools that one can use in the animation pipeline? Also, how does one retool?
Retooling simply means relearning. You need to learn. Okay, you need to go to an institution and learn these things. Now, for Victor, you're talking about 3D. 3D now there's a lot. In fact, like right now we have Cascada for your AI animation. It helps you. I'm hoping you are an animator. It helps you bridge between the keyframes, and it gives you the in-betweens quite nicely with physics. We have things like Midjourney that are going to create for you storyboards. So we're even using ChatGPT now, because it has incorporated pictures, to be able to start even creating storyboards. So there's a host of things that we can use in this day and age. And when you say 3D animation, especially, AI is AI. The whole animation thing is AI. It's only that we are in the front end and not in the back end. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Benja. So any more questions regarding our topic for today? Any more questions? If we do not have any, I hope you have had an amazing session today and would love to wrap up. So Benja, before we wrap up, let's hear your parting shot. Any final words of wisdom, especially in relation to what you've presented to us today?
I would say the future belongs to those who can unlearn and relearn. Those are the literate of the future. If you can unlearn and relearn something new, you will be able to survive the future. And don't be afraid of AI and the changes that are coming in.
Okay, thank you, thank you. I think there's one last comment here from Guhad. He's saying, or rather he's asking, I heard that the upcoming animated films made by DreamWorks are using AI, which notably Kung Fu Panda 4 that came this year. So do you think more animated films will adapt?
I think they have no choice. I think from the days of Disney, Disney used to use pen and paper. Now, these young animators, you're using computers. So according to the 9 old wise men of Disney, you guys are using AI to make movies. So, and in the future, they'll also be, we will be saying they are using AI as we go along. So these changes are inevitable and they will come. Yes, more and more will adapt.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much for those who participated in this session. We appreciate you so much. We have a series of webinars coming up starting from next week and in July. So thank you so much. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any inquiry. Currently, we have our July intake ongoing, and these are the certificate courses that we'll be offering in July. So our contacts are here. You can contact us at any time and get in touch for more information. Thank you so much. Have a great evening and a great week ahead. Asanteni sana. Bye.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
Thank you.